भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Your own body is intelligently put together. Every organ is meant to serve a purpose. In this scheme of organism, which is what we call the human body. And qualifying what makes a human body is the structure. Its structure, its various organs, they constitute a human body. The brain has got to be one, and that should enjoy consciousness, and that consciousness should be uninhibited. The hands, legs and all that, a normal, if it is normal, the human body is normal. There are certain features so which make you recognize this is human body. That is intelligently put together. And you can explain it in different models. So the anatomy is there, and physiologically also there is some peculiarities there. Then you need not question about psychological peculiarities. And the capacity to explore, to know, the self-judgment, that means uninhibited consciousness, and conferring upon the human being a freedom to commit mistake. That is called freedom. In terms of knowing, you can commit mistake, you can be right, you can be wrong, you can be partially right, partially wrong. So this capacity, even to commit mistake, is due to freedom. And therefore we talk about free will. That you have a human body is genetically explained. And also why this particular parentage, giving my genetic signature, then you have to go one step further and say, that is due to their karma and your karma also. So putting things together in the contemporary society, and therefore everybody is karma. Because everything tells upon you, you tell upon others. You influence others, others influence you. This is how we are all put together. And a given body is put together, your own body, intelligently put together. That presupposes knowledge. So, we have analyzed what is self-evident is the self, which has got to be consciousness. And the self is, therefore it becomes a being. We say being consciousness. Conscious means the reference to an object. Being consciousness. With no object, we are just looking at what it is. And it is limitless. So it doesn't allow another thing. Then you have to account for the knowledge that this being consciousness, limitless, must have. Because your body is here, is intelligently put together. So somebody must have this knowledge. If you ask your mother, what is this gland called the thyroid? How did you make this thyroid? How did you make this pituitary? How did you make this pancreas? You ask her. She will say, I didn't make them. Neither father has any clue. Mother doesn't know. They themselves enjoy a body given. So mother was given a body. Father was given a body intelligently put together. And therefore, in any capacity it has got to be mother, father. Is also given. The possibility is given. For having a child, bearing a child, it's all given. That the child will be born a baby and later it will grow. You know, while traveling you have a briefcase, then it bulges itself into a big suitcase. But that's how it is. You bring a briefcase, briefest case that is possible, then afterwards it grows to become a huge bulging suitcase. Correct? That's all program. This is how it is not mere simple knowledge of something. It has a future in view. It is highly programmed. And therefore, the mother doesn't have any clue. We all know we are intelligent people and we know. So without knowledge you can't create anything. We all know. If I say, so where did you, Swamiji, so where did you get this clock? From where did you get this clock? Oh, when I went to Switzerland, and then I went to the Alps. There was a valley in Alps. And there you got you pick your own pumpkin. If the Halloween comes and then they say they have got all these gardens, they don't have anybody to pick. You just go and pick your own pumpkin. You go to the garden and then you pick your pumpkin. While coming, you show the pumpkin, pay the money and come home. Pick your own pumpkin. Like this, there in the Alps, pick your own clock. They all keep coming. From the earth there are springs like hot springs. The whole valley in the Alps is full of these clocks. The small ones, big ones and all that. And all so many forms of clock. Watches, clocks, big ding-dong, all these varieties of clocks come. And you pick your own clock. Of course, it doesn't come with straps. Only basic clock comes. And I picked this clock. You will laugh for the very creative story, okay? That is a laughter for the story, but you don't buy it, okay? You don't buy the story, even Swami tells. Swami tells you won't buy this story. Because it's not possible. Why it's not possible? There is a natural pumpkin, but this is not natural. Your argument is funny. There is no natural clock. Clock doesn't come from the earth. It is intelligently put together. Oh, that is your argument? Yes. So it is created by the human being. He designed it, the human being designed it, the human being is involved, one or two, many. So it's intelligently put together and therefore there is knowledge involved. For pumpkin there is no knowledge involved. For your body also intelligently put together, there is knowledge involved. Whether one is intelligent or not. But you cannot question, it's not that it is intelligently put together, you cannot question that. There is knowledge involved. Whether it is human made or even a honeycomb made by the honeybees, intelligently put together. It has chambers for eggs, it has chambers for honey. It is intelligently put together. One Mataji is biting there is sitting there. So it's not biting. The queen bee. And so she doesn't work. The work bees work. And then queen bee is sitting there. And then all the work bees work. Then it's a chamber, it's all made by these bees, and they are intelligent enough to prepare this and this honeycomb. So whether it is the human honeycomb or it is the bee's honeycomb, they are intelligently put together. A honeycomb is much more intelligently put together. This is nothing, it's a net. Do you remember that honeycomb? In those days there was now also they use, I don't know. But now they don't need it. They have to do all that. So they don't need it. And so that's intelligently put together. So anything, we have to understand one thing. It may be human being made, or it is something that is a creature, an insect made. And there are different beings, organisms that put things together. Even inorganic carbon and the carbon made diamond, it's all working under laws, it's also intelligently put together. Because there is knowledge involved, you can make diamonds. Artificial diamonds are there. It's like any other diamond. You have to create that pressure. It will be more costly than diamond. Some people do this. You know, the ashes of the cremated person are converted into a piece of diamond. And you wear it. You wear your grandfather. Yeah? It's possible. The grandfather's ashes come under so much pressure. He becomes a piece of diamond. And you wear it. When people do this, they spend a lot of money for that. That is also intelligently put together. So my body is intelligently put together. Anything that is there has got some knowledge behind. This body has knowledge behind. That knowledge doesn't belong to my mother. Knowledge doesn't belong to my father. But it has got to be somewhere. But that is responsible for this knowledge. Understand that. Responsible for all the laws. Responsible all that is there under those laws. Nothing transcends that knowledge. Laws means all knowledge. Predictable. That's why predictable, there is science, etc. And therefore, this knowledge, we are not talking of one thing. Everything that is here, known and unknown, and that presupposes knowledge. And the knowledge has to rest in a conscious being. It cannot be elsewhere. And therefore, without knowledge, there is no creation. Generally, in creation, knowledge and the created object are separated by one material, which is separated from the creator. But like clay, of which pot is made. Clay is not the person who makes the pot. The clay is in the hands of the pot maker. And he shapes the pot on the wheel. We all know that the pot maker is different from the clay. So pot maker is always separate. Look at our orientation. This is how this is clay pot orientation. This orientation has created havoc in our theological thinking. So when you buy the pot, the cause, the material, is inseparable from the pot, because pot is clay. So when you bring the pot, you bring the clay. When you bring your gold and shine, the gold comes along with that. You can never say, I have got the chain, where is the gold? I have the chain, and so 3 sovereigns, and where did I leave? I have got only the chain. Did you buy chain and another 3 sovereigns? No. No, one chain made of 3 sovereigns, and sovereigns, gold is not there, and I think I left behind. You didn't leave gold behind. You left the brain behind, okay? And so you didn't leave the gold behind. Because the chain is gold. If it is made of gold, it is gold. Those 3 sovereigns here. Therefore, you can never leave behind the material of which a thing is made. Because what is made is the material. Therefore, you can call it gold, you can call it chain, you can call it golden chain, or you can call it correctly chainy gold. Correct? It is after all gold. So chainy gold is okay. Chain is an attribute to gold. Before chain was made, it was gold. Even now it is gold. Later, if you break it, it is still gold, and therefore, when you sell it, you need not break it. When you bought it, you had to pay for making charges, plus his profit. So whatever profit, so making charges plus profit. He will make profit in the making charges also. So making charges plus profit, you pay, is almost double. Then you go and give him, you sell the chain. What happens? Will he give for the chain? No, unless it's an antique chain. And owned by, it was owned by that actress, who was that actress? Famous Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor. Do you know this chain? This is Elizabeth Taylor. It has no price. If you are a bhakta of Elizabeth Taylor, there is no price for it. It is owned by Elizabeth Taylor. One day she wore it and went. So enough. There is a sparsha. There is a touch of Elizabeth Taylor. Therefore, it's a sentiment. Once it is a sentiment, it has no price. It's your own capacity, that's all. How much you can pay. Auction. That's why it's auction. It's not sold in the market, it is auction. And it's go on, each one. in the fellows who participate in the auction, and all of them want to buy it. But each one has got a threshold of owning what Elizabeth Taylor owned, glasses, whatever, contact lens. And so funny. And so you just pay, that is fancy. If this regular you go, you are a regular person and you go, here in this country, regular, gas regular. And so, this is regular. You are a regular person, and naturally your child, that fellow doesn't give you even making charges. He will give you what? Gold, weight of gold and the price of gold. Itni. Because he buys gold, it need not be in one form. It can be in any form. And he will give. If it is 22 carat, there is a price. If it is local 14 KT, some price is there. So this you will give that much alone you will give. You don't get much. It should be 22. That is called gold. Indian women don't believe in anything else. Because gold is Lakshmi. You can't you can't devalue Lakshmi. There is no 14 KT Lakshmi. Aragora Lakshmi. Then you have to say Ishmi. Should be Lakshmi. Really, it is Lakshmi. Gold is Lakshmi. They won't step on it. This Lakshmi. Every woman should have. Even American women, I am telling, have some gold on you. It is respect. Lakshmi. It's a blessing. Don't go for 14 KT. That is meant for party, okay? There is a party and all that. That is ornament. What do you call that? This costume jewelry. I get all these words, So it's all somewhere. Somewhere it is there. Costume jewelry. I am surprised by myself. It is. How can I remember that? So costume jewelry. The first time I am using that. Costume jewelry. किधर से आया मालूम नहीं. The gold. And therefore, gold alone he buys. That is the truth. But the maker, the chain maker, is elsewhere. You need not even see him. You had never seen him. You know there was a maker involved, correct? That's knowledge. Without that maker, this won't be there. It is intelligently put together. That person must be there. And this is not a handiwork of any animal. Therefore, you understand there is a human knowledge involved, a human skill involved, and therefore there is a human being involved. That's enough. It's knowledge. This is called indirect knowledge, but it is knowledge. Indirect knowledge means, don't think it is not knowledge. Everything is indirect knowledge. Everything. Even, suppose you see a person directly, I have a back is indirect knowledge, correct? You don't see. What do you see? It's only front. And therefore you assume there must be a back. It's indirect knowledge. Then I turn my back. Oh, the front must be other side. You have taken. You have indirect knowledge. That is why we go around a shrine. The circumambulation, because Bhagavan is there every. There is no front back for Bhagavan. Therefore you go around. The circumambulation, pradakshina. And therefore, understand, indirect knowledge is knowledge. Everything is indirect knowledge. Nobody has seen an atom or particle. It's all indirect knowledge. You have not seen gravitation either. It's all indirect knowledge. In the sense you don't see. Therefore, the theological orientation is in pot making, the pot maker is always elsewhere. A human being, this all maker, with the possibilities of parts and chains and computers and software, hardware, with all possibilities, with the infrastructure and the human body possibility and its structure, all these, what we call Jagat, must come from some knowledge, not some knowledge, all knowledge. Because we are talking of all. All is Jagat. And therefore that Jagat maker, Jagan maker, so Jagannatha, Jagat maker, must be somewhere in the Jagat, but not locally available. Because he must be non-local. Because locally everybody has got only limited knowledge. No one has all knowledge. All knowledge must be non-local. Non-local means what? Either down below he is or above he is. Down below you can't look up. Your eyesight it goes up to the floor, up to the ground, beyond which it doesn't go. Therefore you can look up. It can go up at least some distance. There also there is a false ceiling, the blue sky. Up to that you can go. And then give up. Then say, oh God. So the orientation, natural orientation, the intellect of the human being wants to know naturally the maker, because there is knowledge involved. The knowledge, where is it? Must be a conscious being elsewhere. Elsewhere means beyond you, somewhere. Let us call it heaven. In the heaven he is there, called a penthouse. Heaven is the penthouse. After creating the world, in the penthouse, the last floor, kept it for himself. There he is, heaven. So there he is, already determined is a he. And that means he has got a body and he is sitting there in space and time. And therefore you can go and see him. So you go there. But can we go with this body? That is not possible. That kind of tourism is not available. Then what kind of tourism is available? So you have to give up this body. So if I give up the body, I will go? No guarantee. But I give you guarantee. In fact, unless you take my guarantee, you will not go to heaven. You will go to the other place where God is not. His enemy is sitting there. And so you have to go to this heaven to meet this God, and then you go to heaven. So even in America, when somebody in India, I'm just telling in Chennai, that I'm going to America, so 2 months I'll be there. Swamiji, I am also coming. So all right, then Swamiji, I will come and see. I hear this. Someone say, where will you be? I asked him. So where will you be? I will be in Seattle. He thinks I will be in Nungambakkam. So this is he is in Egmore and then I will be in Nungambakkam. So USA. So with the time difference, he is in one corner, he is going. And afterwards I told him, of course you can come. It takes, when you fly, it will take about 7 hours or 8 hours, 6 hours. And then time difference is about 3 hours from Los Angeles. Okay, 3 hour time difference. Yeah. All போச்சு planning. No Tambaran. So this is how it is. Heaven, if I go, it should be a very huge continent. Because all these fellows, for all these generations, they have to get up there. All of them, you find all primitive old fellows also have gone up there. Because they didn't know how to commit sin. All of them went up. All of them have gone. How many souls, my God? All of them are there. Should be a big continent. Then I have to, where will I land? And afterwards I have to find out where God is. Seek the address of all people. I get 1.5 pages address. So turn left, take for 50 miles, then turn right, and turn left, left, right, turn right, right, turn left, right. So like this, I have to see God. Then I see God. Then all these devotees, faithful fellows, are all sitting there, and God is yonder, one dot, and then very effulgent dot. I'm sitting there, and now, what should I do? If I have gone from Chennai, I will say, oh, so then I will, aha. I will say all that. Bhagavane, I thought you would be different, but you are like us only. You are so small. You have to imagine all this. And therefore they say, he has no form. These questions they might have faced. The theologians have escaped saying, he is formless. Father in heaven is formless. Then why should he be in heaven? Unless it's a figure of speech, a metaphor. We have to understand it as a metaphor. You can't say he is formless and then he has a location. You understand this? Very simple. All that we require is only 5th grade, 5th grade you have studied, that much intellect is enough, developed intellect. And the children will ask these kind of questions. And you can maintain this, talk about this and then preach. Go to India and talk about this. That's only there's only because of local anesthesia. Not that they are not intelligent people, they are capable of intellection. But in this area, no thinking. And then again, formless created this Jagat. What do you mean by that? What is formless? Formless means what? Is it space? Is it time? And that will be then created. Time, space and everything else in time, space are created. Then what is that cause? Formless. Now they have to come to us to understand the metaphor. God in heaven, I would say, God in His own heavenly glory. His only upachara. Means what? It must be formless consciousness. With all knowledge, because if formless, limitless consciousness is God with the Word, and the Word is God with the knowledge, all knowledge, one word, Jagat. And therefore, why we must have? Because I have a Jagat here. I see a Jagat, my body intelligently put together, and everything else, and therefore there is knowledge involved. And all that is here is only knowledge. There is nothing more than knowledge. Word. Not words. That is meaningless. Here word, meaningful word with its meaning. Word with its meaning, word with its meaning. That's all what creation is. That is either manifest or unmanifest. Manifest means there is a subject-object. Unmanifest means subject-object are not there now. That's all. All knowledge with subjects and objects. I see you, you see me. I am the subject, you are the subject. For me, you are the object. And for you, I am the object. Therefore, this is what we call Jagat. When there is no subject-object, it is called unmanifest. When there is subject-object, there is manifestation. Avyaktat vyaktayas sarva. From the avyakta, the unmanifest alone, all that is manifest. Unmanifest is knowledge. Manifest also knowledge. Correct? Without knowledge it cannot be manifest. So unmanifest is all knowledge. Manifest is knowledge. Therefore, that is all you require, all knowledge. God is all knowledge. And what confers upon that limitless consciousness to have this knowledge? That is what we say, Maya Shakti. Why do you say Maya Shakti? Why? Because limitless consciousness is neither small knowledge or all knowledge. It must have something. So limitless consciousness that you are. How do you have limited knowledge? So limitless consciousness, to have a limited knowledge, there should be a faculty with enough ignorance to back up, to inhibit. Otherwise you will be all knowledge. Because there is only one limitless consciousness. You are all knowledge. And every time you know something, you scrap up. In fact, every teacher is a scraper. Scraper, you scrape. You scrape what is there. Like this lottery ticket you buy in America. Instant loss can be discovered. And so this, all that you require is one coin. So with this coin you just, you scrape off what is covering the ink and then scrape off. You get one apple. Then if you have 4 apples, you will gain so much, $1,000. It's a $5 ticket. So it's very simple. And then the first is always an apple. Apple. Second, apple. Third, already. Now you can't even scrape your head. No, it is 50,000. That's not only $50,000. If you win, $50,000. So now you can't scrape, your hand is shaky. The third one, and the third is also apple. Your heart is in the mouth now. And now you slowly manage to scrape the fourth one. When bell comes. You should take a picture at that time. So that is a good time for your digital camera. So no problem. That's the time. You know, when he told me like this, I said, at least these 3, up to 3, you are kept hopeful. Don't worry. Suppose the bell came first. So that's really unfortunate. But this, you are 3/4 fortunate. 3/4 fortunate, that was, at least you were kept hopeful. I don't believe in this 3/4 fortunate, correct? 3/4 fortunate means you must get. So, 37.5, 1,000. 3/4 fortunate. That's not hope something. This is exactly what knowing is. This is what avidya is. Avaranam. Scraping is knowing. And what is Bhagavan? Without scraping. And therefore it doesn't require buddhi or mind, senses and all that. It doesn't require. Pramanas it doesn't require. All knowledge, means of knowing are not necessary. All knowledge. It's all uncovered all knowledge. Here you are inhibited all knowledge. The difference between a jiva and Ishvara is all knowledge, limitless consciousness, and all knowledge, limitless consciousness, inhibited by ajnanam, ignorance. Therefore, there is a faculty. That's the difference. This is how it is. Therefore, new knowledge is never created. Neither new ignorance is not created. You may not know that there is this ignorance also. You may not know that there is this particular ignorance of Atma. You may not know. This object, I don't know, you don't know. But once you come to know there is an object to know, then that is not creating ignorance. That is discovering a subject matter to be known. You are not creating ignorance. You have come to know about an object, that is knowledge. Asti, idam asti. That much knowledge you have got. What it is further you have to know. Understand? And therefore, new ignorance is never created. all knowledge. This is what we say is this Maya. Small knowledge is because of ignorance as well as that our faculty because of which we gather some knowledge. And all knowledge means there is what we say an adjunct upadhi called Maya, sometimes called avyakta, unmanifest. And that is all knowledge. That is Ishvara. Now you have to assimilate then all that is here is all knowledge. The assimilation is through your own experience. How experience is useful for assimilating a certain facts unfolded by the Upanishad. You need to have personal experience with reference to which you can assimilate with the help of that. What is said by the Shruti, logically we can dismiss everything else. What Shruti says stays. That is called knowledge anyway. So what cannot be negated is knowledge. Shruti says all that is here is Ishvara. Yaditam sarva Ishvara. Everything that is here is Ishvara. So that means is a manifest. Because there is a cycle, therefore the word creation is there. Ishvara is both maker and the material cause. We have to give up this theological orientation. Maker must be elsewhere. And he created out of nothing. This is another. Who created this world? Father in heaven. Out of what did he create? Out of what did he create? See the answer. Out of nothing. Out of nothing? Yes. That's why he's God. How can even God create out of nothing something? That makes him almighty. How this formless God becomes, how does he become almighty? He must be almighty. Why? Because he creates out of nothing. Out of nothing he created because he is almighty. How did he create out of nothing means he is almighty, and how he is almighty? You say because he created out of nothing. He is almighty. Yeah, the world is something. It's not nothing. You can't say you are nothing because out of nothing you have to assimilate the statement. Unless you just swallow, pumpkin swallow. You cannot accept this. Out of nothing, God created the world. I have heard this kind of style. Does God, he asked the question to the audience, shedding tears. You look at a TV, look at the TV, the evangelist. Does he require a material? Our Lord, the Almighty, God the Almighty, the Father in heaven, does he require anything to create this world? He's not a poor Paul. He's God. Tears, front line. out of nothing, you can create nothing. Nothing came out of nothing. A good sentence. Nothing came out of nothing. Means what? At least something came. Nothing came. This is a sentence which is the most foolish sentence that you can create. Out of nothing came nothing. Out of nothing came something. Out of nothing, something cannot come because there is nothing. How can they say out of nothing? But then you can say out of nothing else. Perfect. Because these two causes cannot be separated. If there is a cause, material cause other than Ishvara, other than God, then what separates the material from God? Some space which itself is a creation. And therefore, both are one and the same. One good thing about this Jagat is, it is intelligently put together all right, but it doesn't require any material except knowledge. Word and meaning. It's all knowledge. Vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam mrittiketyeva satyam. What is just a word and its meaning. It is centered on your tongue for a form, function. No part more than that. There is only the clay. That is Satyam in the example. Here clay is Ishvara. Don't go and say Ishvara, you are clay. Then the final knowledge is, I am Ishvara. If Ishvara is clay, you are what? Not a great equation. Not a desirable equation. And therefore, that the material you don't require. Only Ishvara's knowledge. You assimilate it in terms of your experience in dream or dream experience. Why? Because before, how it's a very interesting experience. Before dream, you always slept. From waking, you can't go to dream. Waking, if you go to dream, then waking reality will be there and you can't dream. You have to die to waking. That means you have to sleep. Then if you are waking up, then you will be waker's world. But then if you wake up but half, then you can dream. Pure mind. With your power to create. You think of sun, sun comes, time, space, everything together. Remember the ketchup. You can get the ketchup out, not time, space out. They come together. Then you have knowledge of time and space. Whatever knowledge that is required to see the sun, you have it. That knowledge you have, simple knowledge. Sun. In time and distance, you see that. sun. You see mountains, you see rivers, you see snow peaks. And you see birds, animals, trees. And our people, lot of people, 1, 2, 3, 4, you see them all of them admire your creation. They all go for a Himalayan trip and they see the Himalayas, all the snow peaks and all that. Wow, look at this nature. It's God's creation. One fellow says, hey, it is nature, there is no God's creation. One fellow. The other fellow is, oh, look at this. It's all God's creation. Look at this. It's all God's creation. Like this, it's all true. This is true. This is all God's creation. God is somewhere else, okay? So the fellows you have created, each one tells one thing. Now this creation is intelligently put together creation in the sense. You thought of sun is there, and it's all, there is motion, there is talking, there is sight, there is hearing. All this in dream that requires laws of sight. All the organs are there, the laws of sight is there. Every pair of eyes see, every pair. Eyes means sight. And therefore you find that's a law, that's total. And therefore it's a creation. How many days it took? First day thoda banaya, first day a little bit, then second day a little more, third day a little more, fourth day a little more, fifth day a little more, sixth day more. Then he felt, oh, it's all very dark. I think we require sun. So sun he created. Everything became bright. Wonderful. His son created. Then afterwards he became tired. So this he became very tired. Now how tired you are. How many days you took? How without a sun it can be a day. First day, second day, third day. You must be a special person for all this. And therefore, unless it's a metaphor, I don't foo-foo this idea. There may be something very, very big fact buried under all this. So literally you can't take. Now you think of mountain is there, pure knowledge. You are limitless consciousness there. And now also, because you can never be other than what you are. There is nothing other than what you are. And therefore, you are limitless consciousness plus knowledge. Otherwise, there will be no sun, no space, no time, nothing. Of course, consciousness. Nirvikalpa. But when these are there, you don't become savikalpa. You don't become dual. You continue to be the same limitless consciousness with this extraordinary power, which is called Maya power. Why it is Maya? Because it is non-separate from that consciousness. It cannot be dismissed as non-existent, nor it is independently existent. It is you. And you have created one fellow, the subject also, and this is called avatara. He created one for seeing this world, admiring all this, his own creation, and undergoing what sometimes some pain and all that. This is the Jagat he created. What is all this? Pure knowledge, Jyotihi. It is pure knowledge. Space knowledge, time knowledge, mountain knowledge, tree knowledge, fire. It is all you. There, where are you? In the dream world, where are you? There is no where. Up or below? Where? Hey, come on, the whole thing is me. This is called all-pervasive. The whole thing is me. You are Ishvara. And the fellows who created, you created 6 fellows. And one fellow looks up, one fellow dismisses. There is nothing. That's all just silly. One fellow says, I believe in God. Hey, all that is here is God. I believe in God. He also doesn't know what is God. And one fellow says, I am an agnostic. I keep my mind open always. Permanent openness. So this he's another peculiar fellow. Lifetime openness, which he has decided. I am an agnostic and I am going to keep it open for my lifetime. Why? For God to come and tell me that, shake hands with me. I am God. You have been open. So your house is open, the open house you have. Now I have come. I don't believe in God, another guy. He has got his own concept of God. And one who believes also is as good as the other fellow who doesn't believe. There is no big difference between the two. Believer in God can destroy. Non-believer in God, at least he is accountable. He can destroy in the name of God. Because God mandated him to destroy a non-believer, because non-believer is an enemy to God, and therefore you are faithful, and if you are faithful, and you should punish him. Because he didn't listen to God. Listening to God is exactly my God. There is only one God, and that is my God. No other God is God. There is one God, don't worship other gods. Understand? I asked this fellow, you say, there is one God, how can I worship other gods? Wherever I worship, there is one God only I worship. Whatever. He doesn't understand what I said. If he understands, he can't be this kind of believer. We have set up ourselves, the whole humanity has set up itself into traps. It's all thought traps, thinking traps. We have to come out of it. No other thing can save the humanity. So you are God. The whole creation in the dream is you. The fellows should realize that. The consciousness in the mind of the fellows in the dream you created is the same one limitless consciousness. That is the truth. Every fellow has to know that. Because every fellow is ignorant. That is also there in the creation. That is a part of Maya. And it can go, is also Maya. And therefore, there is only one thing. Now wake up. Now what? There is only one thing. You are those 3 fellows. And the whole thing is Ishvara. And in the Ishvara Srishti, you are all there. It is the same limitless consciousness, all knowledge, who is manifest in the form of the entire Jagat. There is no question of belief. I believe, Swamiji, I believe. Who are you to believe? I don't need to talk to you if you want to believe what I say. Swamiji, I don't understand, therefore I believe. That's okay. Pending understanding you can accept, okay? You can accept. You can't even say, I don't understand. You are in the process of understanding. It is a matter for seeing. There is nobody is ignorant in this, after exposing to this. You can only say, I am in the process of knowing. There is nothing wrong in it. That's why we have a whole methodology of teaching, whole scheme of teaching. And therefore, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamevavasishyate, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Arihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, Arihi Om. 1 minute. We have 1 minute.